It's the Herd Line News.
Well, the Sixers not looking so feisty the last two games.
I still like him. I still like him in the series, and there's a lot of stuff going on there, but I like him.
The stuff that's going on is what's worrying me, though, because the Raptors are a good organization with a lot of talents. They're well run, well coached. So I could see them sneaking this series out if Philadelphia keeps playing with them. They lost 2 straight to the Raptors, 103-88 loss in Game 5. Philly had a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, and last night was the Raptors from the very beginning.
Right.
When you watch the game, 7 minutes in, Raptors going to win this
Wasn't a game they snuck out.
Yeah.
Like they won that game. Joel Embiid doesn't seem too worried about the losses, but he does want more out of James Harden.
I've been saying all season since he got here, he just needs to be aggressive and he needs to be himself. That's not really my job. That's probably on coach to, talk to him and tell him to, take more shots.
By the way, let me throw this out there. What Embiid wants is the old James Harden.
Right.
And what he has is maybe an old James Harden.
It's possible. But also James has been, he's been doing what's been asked of him to win. We were talking about this yesterday.
Yes. But
there are moments when he does have to be more aggressive.
Listen, let's just be honest about this. He's the opposite of Tom Brady, LeBron, and Russell Wilson. He partied hard. He closed a lot of clubs. And because of that, he's only 32. Joey, he's aged quickly. Like, he is not as quick and elusive as he was 2 years ago. Like, he looks, some guys we just watched this. Westbrook and Cam, you're like, they're only 32. Harden is not as quick as he was 2 years ago. And he's never been like, Russell Wilson, LeBron, Brady committed to the process. He's like just a gifted scorer.
Well, he's going to have to tap into that a little bit if they're going to make a run this year. He had 15 points and 4 of 11, 7 assists in Game 5. In the playoffs, he's been averaging 18.4 points per game. He's shooting 42 from the field and 37.9 from three-point.
And that's the bigger issue I have. It's the field goal percentage. That tells me doesn't quite have the legs. He doesn't quite get the lift. The shot's not quite as easy. I didn't look this morning. If you go back to in his prime years and now, I would imagine the field goal percentage is much lower now.
I don't have a problem with Joel Embiid saying this.
No, not at all. At all.
Nor publicly, because we've been very critical of stars who are being, too gentle on their teammates. I don't know how James Harden is going to receive it or if he's already said it to James Harden. I imagine he would have if he had said it publicly. But to your point, does James still have it in him? He's going to have to take it to another level. Like, they need James Harden to be aggressive. They need the scoring.
Yeah.
And particularly in this, to get out of this series, which they've dropped 2 now to the Raptors.
Yeah.
But Embiid is also dealing with a hand injury, so that could be playing a role in things as well. But I'm not going to lie. I'm a little nervous for the Sixers.
You should be. I'll say this. Now you're starting to hear the Doc Rivers narrative. Doc can't close out a series. So I'm just interested. This will be a really good game. This will be one of the better playoff games in the first round. Philly in Toronto. It's going to be a really good game. Oh, Canada is what they're hoping for.
So Nets leadership met with Ben Simmons prior to Game 4 yesterday to discuss the physical and mental hurdles remaining in his return to the court. Ben Simmons reiterated his desire to play as soon as possible, but they're going to have to wait till next season, obviously, as the Nets got swept last night. Now, according to reports, Brooklyn made it clear to Ben Simmons and his agent, Rich Paul, that the organization plans to continue to give him every resource necessary to return in the short and long term. He has 3 years and $114 million left on his contract after this season. He hasn't played a game since Game 7 of the 2021 Eastern Conference semifinals against the Hawks. That was June 20th, 2021, so almost a year now. He's making $35.4 million in base salary this season. Now, it's unclear how much of that he got because he has a grievance with the Sixers and they were withholding his pay. So who knows how much of that he got this year. But the point is, he is being compensated well and he is not playing basketball. And it is apparent that it is still not just the back situation. The mental side of things is also affecting him not coming back.
It's exhausting. It's the Dak Prescott contract story. We're like, can we just come back when it's resolved? I feel like with this story, I'm exhausted.
I've been saying that. I don't know I don't know what's new. What's new? What's the development? Nothing has changed.
Well, they keep moving it. It's the shell game. It's like it was mental. We all backed off. And then it was physical. We were all hopeful. And now when he couldn't play and he got ripped by Barkley, Shaq, and everybody, now it's back to the mental. And it's like, I thought we got past that. So at this point, I just feel like he's being protected by an agent. I think he's been protected and coddled most of his career. For me, it always comes back to this. I could not let my coworkers down like that. I could not literally say, I'm just going to be off the show for a while. And you guys are all like, when's he coming back? And I don't know. I just, right now it's upstairs. It's like, I'd have a guilt thing. I would have you love the sport or you don't. You want to be there for people beyond yourself or you don't. I don't.
If you have a mental health situation that you're dealing with that's preventing you from being able to work, then everyone is totally fine with that.
Yeah.
But there's no need for to your point, the shell game of when he is possibly coming back. Just let us know when you're coming back.
Yeah.
I don't need to follow the saga all the way through. I don't think he's that good of a basketball player for it to be this much drama.
Well,
he's not a plug-and-play player. He has to be in a specific system.
Yeah.
He's terrified to shoot. He's not good in big moments. Yes, he's an elite defensive player.
Yeah.
Yes, he can score the ball and distribute. So can lots of guys who we don't spend this much time worrying about when they're going to be back. He hasn't played basketball in a year.
So, it's interesting. We talked about Harden, and now we talk about Simmons. The truth is, both franchises, even though I like what Philly did, much easier, fewer moving parts, there's issues with both. Like James has peaked. Like he's getting old fast. And Ben, if not peaked, we put his career on pause. Like, what is it? So, like, the truth of the matter is, if Harden was as good as he was 3 years ago, Brooklyn probably would have gotten more. So, Daryl Morey did have limitations on, you got two players. At least my guy Harden is on the court. Like, I'm getting minutes.
That's what I said at the beginning. As soon as the trade happened, at least I'm getting someone who plays basketball
and loves basketball. I think he loves basketball. James, he loves.
Right, but he's literally a human body on the floor. Like Ben Simmons is not playing basketball. We're not talking about a multiple-time MVP, multiple championships type of player.
Yeah.
Does he even impact your organization in a winning way? What has he ever won?
It's all fair.
I've been done with the saga, but then they brought it back for Game 4, so here we are again. Just whenever he's ready to come back, let us know, and then we can start discussing how he's going to impact any team that he's on. So Jay Wright retired a week ago after 21 seasons at Villanova. The two-time national champion coach said he didn't want to ask his players to commit 100% when he wasn't fully committed. So this morning, he was asked about the possibility of coming out of retirement to coach in the NBA, and this is what he said.
Not right now. Like, that was something, I always thought about. My experience with the Olympics, it kind of scratched that itch. Like, I kind of feel like I did it, a little bit. And I love coaching those guys. Right now, I definitely need a break. Right now, I'm looking forward to this position at Villanova. But honestly, like down the road, I'd be lying. I don't know what I'm going to feel like.
By the way,
a little crack in the door.
But it also, can't all of us answer questions like this? The media tends to want a definitive answer. And he's like, listen, man, I can't wait for the Villanova thing, but who does know what they're going to think in 3 years?
I prefer this type of answer rather than an absolute definitive answer.
Yeah.
I don't like speaking in absolutes. He's right. What if in 2 years he's miserably bored
out of his
he's
mind?
Like, nope, I still have some left in the tank, and I've spent some time with my family. We vacationed, and we all think it's best that I go back to work for a few more years.
After the third trip to Aruba, he's like, all right, I've done it. I want to get back to the grind.
Right.
I can deal with the Northeast winters. I'm into it. That's
it happens all the time. And then we get very, protective over the fact that you said you were retired. So I don't mind that he left the door open. Now, it is going to continuously put his name in the hat for any big job that comes up. So that is something that you have to deal with, and is why some people answer these questions in absolute answers, so they don't have to deal with that. But, this coach cycle, the Lakers, Kings, and Hornets are looking for coaches already. We imagine there will be some other positions open. I do think he's going to in kind of the same way that Sean Payton is retired. I think it might be a little bit of a short retirement. Now, Jay, I think, might actually stay retired and might enjoy this new position because it's a new thing to kind of be semi-retired. Like, I'm retired, but I'm still, I still have an office.
Yes.
I'm still dabbling. I still have a bit of a routine.
Sure.
But I'm not going to have to be here every day and travel. Like, you kind of ease back a little bit. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Jay Wright coach in the NBA, but I do think that unlike Sean Payton, this is like a very sincere retirement.
Good stuff, Joy, with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.